The Sulphur Bulldogs are back in the state championship game for the second consecutive year. They'll face a familiar foe. Last year, an instant classic between Lincoln Christian and Sulphur. It's the Bulldogs had to walk off the field with the silver ball. This year, they're looking to walk off the field with the gold ball. I'm Michael Knight, joined by Sulphur head coach Corey Cole. And coach, let's start right there. The rematch with Lincoln Christian. Looking at Class 3A all season, it's been Lincoln Christian number one, Sulphur number two, both teams coming in undefeated. I asked you this question back in September about, starting to peek ahead and just, keeping track of what Lincoln Christian is doing. And you gave the very politically correct answer back then, like just one game at a time. I think you were preparing for Davis that week. But now it's here. You get the rematch with Lincoln Christian. Uh, Now, in hindsight, how much did you pay attention to what Lincoln Christian was doing throughout this season?
Well, Lincoln Christian is such a good football program. Coach Ricky is a good friend of mine, and they do a tremendous job. I wouldn't say we were peeking ahead watching them because we knew what they were going to do. They're loaded. We knew where they were going to be in December. But did we want our chance? Did we want our shot to be back there? Yeah, I posted it. Right after the championship game a year ago, I told everybody kind of that's where we want to be December the 3rd, and we want to be able to finish it. So our goal this year, main goal, was to be playing this next Saturday, and we wanted to play Lincoln Christian, and that's not a shot at them because they're the top dogs. You know what I'm saying? And had left a bitter taste in our mouth, and we wanted another shot at it. So yeah, peeking ahead, maybe a little bit wanting that opportunity. I think wanting that opportunity, trying to earn that opportunity more than anything.
You guys come into this season undefeated. You were very battle tested early on, battle tested again in a tough district. But at the end of the day, you come into this game at 13 and 0. Just talk about this year's team and how different is it, from last year's squad. Obviously, there's a lot of faces back from last year's team that made it to the state title game, but then you also sprinkle in some new guys that have played huge throughout the year. This season, an opportunity not only at a state championship, but a perfect season that doesn't come around very often. Talk about the pride that this team is playing with right now.
Well, we want to build upon the success that those kids, that group we had last year, did a tremendous job for us, and went through the rough patch. I think I've told people this. This is the last group that Coach Dixon had. Is when Coach Dixon passed. These guys were freshmen. Last year's group were sophomores, and they know what this program's supposed to be about, and they've done a really good job of trying to carry on tradition, trying to carry on what it's like, the discipline and things that we want to do. But this group has been. Man, I say it all the time, the brotherhood. It's amazing. The locker room is rock solid. They have player-led Bible studies every week. I don't have to deal with any discipline issues. They take care of it. If somebody is 2 seconds late to something, I don't even have to say anything because there's 4 or 5 seniors that are taking care of business. And once your program gets to that point, and I think that's you talk to a lot of successful coaches at big time programs, the program takes care of itself because the kids run the program because they know the standards, they know what it's supposed to be like, they know what the culture is, and they don't allow anything. And that's been the biggest thing, man. The brotherhood is just unbelievable. They love playing the game, they love each other, they love representing Sulphur football.
Talking about some of the players that have stood out, you have to start the conversation with Maddox Mobley and talking with you even at the end of last season, going into early on this season. We talk about how he's in my opinion, and it should be the opinion of a lot of people across the state of Oklahoma. He's one of the best football players in this state. Not only when you look at the impact that he has on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, but you throw in the fact that when it's the biggest moment, when it's the biggest stage, whether it's, snapping Washington's winning streak and him being the best football player on the field that night, or even in the state championship game last year, you have to walk off the field with a silver ball. But I think a lot of people might say that Maddox Mobley was the best football player on the field that night. I think he's one of the best players in the state of Oklahoma, and obviously he's meant so much to this Sulphur program.
Oh gosh, yeah, he's approaching like a hundred career touchdowns. He's already the all-time leading all-purpose yardage guy. He's got a chance to be a thousand guy this year. I mean, it's just, and then he's just so unselfish. And we've got a lot of playmakers, and we can talk about a bunch of those guys. if he was on a team that only had a couple of playmakers, his stats would be unreal. I mean, it'd be unreal. But like I said, I got to have Maddox Mobley. I've got to have him healthy. I got to have him healthy for this Saturday. So we don't just throw him out in those moments. And he understands that. He doesn't care. He just wants to make sure that our team wins. That is the only stat that he cares about. There's nobody out there that works harder, that is more dedicated, there's no better leader out there than him. Is there somebody that can run faster, that can jump higher? Sure, I'm not going to say that. But when it's game time, you can bet number 4 in the red and white that he's going to be competing at a very, very high level. I was talking to Coach Beller last night at the 6A state championship game, and we're talking to some other coaches, and he was mentioning that he's just different. Mobley is just different. He got to see it firsthand. He's got to compete against him, and Coach Beller knows what really big time players look like, and just he just said, man, he just makes things happen when they got to happen, and he's done that for his whole career. So just like the other night, he had 100 yards. We had another guy step up. Carter Cole had a huge game for us. Go watch the tape. Number 4 is the lead blocker on all those. You know what I'm saying? And knocking people down and just whatever it takes. That's what makes him so special.
Coming into this season, I already thought that Maddox was one of the best players in the state. But you telling the story about that Washington game and how, he was banged up, he wasn't 100%, and you guys kind of limited what he was doing in the first half, and then you fed him in the second half, and even not at 100%, he played like a guy who was one of the best football players in the state of Oklahoma, and the ability to flip that switch and the ability to, step up in the biggest moments, offense, defense, whatever it is. He's a special player, man. That was the icing on top. That was like, okay, there's no questions anymore. I don't, like you mentioned, the size, the speed, whatever. He's one of the best football players in the state of Oklahoma. And like you mentioned, you have several playmakers on both sides of the ball. Talk to me about your quarterback, Kel Brakefield, because, coming into this program, he was with Washington last year, was one of their leading tacklers on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, they're very well off at the quarterback position with a young sophomore that has a chance to be very special by the time it's all said and done. He makes the move and joins this Sulphur team and takes over that QB1 spot. And he's had a heck of a season.
Heck of a year. I mean, he has been and I'm gonna tell you, he's another one that come in, earned respect right off the bat, and has become a great team leader. But I think he's approaching 2,700 yards passing, 32 touchdowns. He's another one. He's like Mobley. We got to keep him healthy, so we've not let him run just a whole lot. Well, this Saturday is going to be a little bit different because he's 6'1", 205 pounds, and so we're going to get to turn him loose a little bit because there's no looking back. But he's had a great year. He's a great leader. He's a warrior. He does things the right way. I mean, he approaches everything with a great mindset. He's a guy that can make a mistake and he can let it go. There's a lot of kids, man, that just it eats at him. He's a guy that he makes a mistake and he's ready to go. Give me the ball back, coach. I won't let that happen again, and knock on wood, kid's never lost a football game in his high school career.
Got one more. He's got
That's
one
what I'm
more,
saying.
and
He's
it's
never lost a game. We got one more, so that would be pretty bittersweet for him. He's a great kid, and I mean, leaving a great program like Washington and Coach Beller, and I mean, his cousin's the quarterback there, and he
yeah.
comes over here. But now he comes over here. He's playing with Bridge, who is his other cousin, and those guys have had a phenomenal year. Bridge is right out. He's approaching the 1,000 yard mark, and he's got dudes to throw to, and he's getting those guys the ball.
Perfect segue to Bridge Barrett, who's the next player I want to talk about. Again, I talked to you about him in September, but for those who missed that interview and some new viewers here, I say Maddox Mobley is one of the best players in the state of Oklahoma. I believe that Bridge Barrett is one of the most underrated players in the state of Oklahoma, offensively, defensively. Just go back to that Washington game. He was matched up on Case Alexander,
Oh,
and
man.
that's a guy that's going to be playing at the next level at a very high level in a couple years. And he made life very difficult for Alexander that night. Go back to the state championship game a year ago. Comes up with a big interception, had a big night that night against a Lincoln Christian offense that can throw the ball around a little bit. And again, Bridge Barrett, time after time, big play, offense, defense, it doesn't matter. He's a guy who should get more shine than what he's gotten already because similar to Maddox, big games, big opponents, it doesn't matter. He's going to play at his best.
Big time players make big time plays in big time games. And you go look at our over the last 2 years, who you turn on the highlight tape, you keep seeing number one, you keep seeing number one, and the guy just makes plays. Another guy is willing to do whatever it takes. Just a great young man, a tremendous basketball player. But you said it, man. He's one of the most underrated guys, and he's been, smaller guy as far as weight and stuff. He's really worked hard on his body, and for the last 2 years, if you're the dude, he's covering you. And it, you know what? He may have give up a play or whatever, but he worked so hard at it. He understands his role. He knows going in what he's got to do each and every week, and man, become a great receiver for us this year, going up and getting jump balls and just a tremendous athlete. But he's one that is a big time player for us. I mean, 2 weeks in a row he had a 90. He's got two school records in 2 weeks. He had a 99-yard kickoff return against Holland Hall, and he had a 99-yard touchdown reception the other night against Perkins. So I mean, he's just a guy that just makes plays when you need him, and just a great young man, and that understands the game and just gives us everything he's got every Friday night.
You mentioned the size, and look, he's long. Like he's
Yeah.
tall. He's a good looking cat. I mean, throw him in a work or weight room, throw him, in a college weight room program, eating program, all that stuff. He's going to be able to put some weight on, and he's going to be able to help whoever he ends up at the next level. Let's talk about some more guys, offense,
Yep.
defense, because look, you obviously have some star power, some legitimate star power. We talked about Kale, we talked about Maddox and Bridge, but talk about some of the other guys that have stepped up this season and made it a special year where you guys are knocking on the doorstep of history, 13-0, heading into the state title game. You don't get there, you don't win all these games with just three players. Talk about some of the other guys who have
Yeah.
stepped up this fall.
I would put JoJo Gray up there with just about anybody. He's another one. He shares the workload with Maddox Mobley. You know what I'm saying? Like so, and he's a 1,300-yard rusher right now. Again, if he was the dude, if he was the only guy, there's no telling what he would be able to do behind this offensive line. But he's another one. He understands his body being healthy right now is key for us, and just a tremendous runner. We had 300-yard rushers the other night. He was one of them. He's had some big games here lately because we put more on his plate. Obviously, the games are getting a little closer, a little bit tighter, and he had a big playoff run as a sophomore for us, kind of in some key situations, and he's really amped it up. He had some big runs against Washington early in the year against Davis. He had a really good game against Perkins early on, and then these last few games he's really stepped up and had a really good game for us. And we started using Carter Cole a whole lot. He's a sophomore. He's 6'2", he's 192 pounds, and he can fly. And we've started using him in a Wildcat package. And I think the other night he's got like 1,200 all-purpose yards. He's our punt return, kick return, slot receiver. The coaches kept telling me we got to use him more. We got to use him more. He'd only carried the ball 12 times the whole year. And the other night he carried it 10 times and had, right at 177 yards, and had a huge touchdown right before half. And just a guy that he's one of those ones, he just wants to play defense, because I live with him. So I know what he wants to do. He wants to play defense. And but he's another guy, 6'2", 190, that can run, with the other weapons that we have, makes it really difficult. And he if he gets some space, he can make a lot of things happen. But Colton Cole is kind of the unsung hero. He doesn't have the big stat line, but I'm just going to tell you, he's one of the most physical blockers I've ever been around. He finishes things, great hands, great weapon for us. We don't use it a whole lot. I think he's got, about 350 yards receiving, which is really good, and he's had a really good year, 20 something catches. But you watch him in the run game and on the perimeter, throwing the quick screens to Mobley, to Bridge, to Carter. He's the guy out there making it happen. And you talk about unselfish, man. I mean, there'd be a lot of tight ends like, I want the ball, I want the ball. I think he likes blocking more. You know what I'm saying? He likes that physicality part of it. And then you got to throw Drake Wood in there. He's one of our smaller guys. He's only 5'9", 150, but I mean, he's big play after big play because you got all these guys. You know what I'm saying? You got Bridge, you got Mobley, you got Carter, and then you got JoJo, you got Colton. So he's made some big plays for us this year as well. So we got those guys, but it's all possible because we lost all those linemen last year, and this group we said going in, that this group would be the key to us getting back to a state championship opportunity, and they have just gotten better each and every week. So, yeah, we've got some guys that can make it happen if they get their opportunities, but those guys up front have done a tremendous job to allow them to have those opportunities.
I could have spent the last 10 minutes talking about the Lincoln Christian matchup, but wanted to get that spotlight on your players, this program, and this season. But now let's talk about Lincoln Christian
Yep.
because, there's a reason why I asked you about this matchup back in September. It's one that, everybody should have been looking forward to as soon as the clock hit zero last year in the state title game. Lincoln Christian, 41 consecutive victories, back-to-back state champions. You look at what they do offensively, defensively. They're for a long time. The MO for Lincoln Christian was offense, and this was a team that had an explosive offense year after year. And now I'm not so sure. Like the defense is stout. They just don't give up points. They don't. They make everything very difficult for you. This is a team that there's a reason why they've won 41 straight. There's a reason why they're one of the best teams in Oklahoma, regardless of class. When you look at what they do on film and what they've been this season, what's one of the first things that stands out to you about Lincoln?
100%. They've won 41 in a row because they are physical. They play physical football. We pride ourselves in physicality. And you think back to that game last year, it was physical. Kids were probably hurting for 2 or 3 days because that game was a war and it was physical. And they are physical. They're physical on the offensive line. They're physical when they run the football. And their defense is just they swarm you, they attack you, and they are physical. And that's the thing that stands out the most. Do they have guys that are top end, speed guys and can great quarterback? Carter Ricky is a tremendous leader. He's a great player, willing to do whatever. Do I need to throw tonight? Do I need to run tonight? Do I just need to hand off? He's an extension of the coaching staff. Great football player, but they're physical. The nose guard Lincoln Torres, he's as good as I've ever seen. The dude, I don't know why that guy's not like he's the real deal, and I don't understand. It goes back sometimes we get our level doesn't get as much, exposure because of whatever, but high motor, high intelligent, man, that guy, but he plays the game the right way. And man, he's a physical force. And I can talk about all the guys, Baker and Wright and all the guys that they have. They got tremendous guys. They play hard. They're physical. They got one of the best coaching staffs around. And when I say around, I'm not talking about Oklahoma. I'm talking around. They do things
Yeah.
the right way, and they're good people. They do things. Their standards are high, and they try to live up to it. And that's the thing. That's the thing that we did last year. We had to match their physicality, and that hopefully gives you a chance.
Saturday is going to be a very special day in Edmond, Oklahoma, because we have the 3A state championship game at noon, a rematch of last year's state title game. And you mentioned the physicality in that game. We're expecting the same thing this year. It's number one versus number two, undefeated versus undefeated. That's at noon. Then you have the 4A title game at 7 o'clock. Again, a rematch of last year's title game. Another heavyweight fight type main event game in Class 4A, two undefeated teams, number one and number two. So Saturday, I mean, look, if you have plans, cancel them and get to Edmond because it's going to be two great games, a great spectacle of high school football in the state of Oklahoma. Coach, we're ending all these conversations with the same question. It's an easy one for me to ask. The answer might be cliche, it might be, coach speak or whatever it is. When you look at this matchup and when you look at what's ahead on Saturday afternoon, what's going to be one of the biggest keys to getting a win over this very, very special Lincoln Christian program on Saturday afternoon?
Well, we can't be intimidated, yeah, and I think a lot of people are intimidated by their brand and what they do, and rightfully so because they've earned that. We got to go in and we got to be very physical, and we got to limit big plays. And last year we really did. They had about 3 or 4 big plays, and in the end, it was what got us. But if we can limit their big play and get after them physically and make them throw the football when they don't want to throw the football, then it gives us a chance, and we just got to be the best version of ourselves and just go play football and everything else take care of itself, give you an opportunity where, we're glad we're in the football game, but we've been on a mission to win this football game for a long, long time. So we just want to go out there and be the best version of ourselves, live to the standard, live to the culture, represent it the right way, and then, let the cards fall how they fall and see how it works out.
I joked with the coaches in the 4A title game, driving back from Edmond on Saturday night after 3 straight days of state championship football. You roll into to the house around 1:30 in the morning. You're dead tired after 3 straight days of content and football and coverage and all that. And I was already fired up for Saturday. I'm already fired up for what's ahead because, like I mentioned, it's going to be a great day of football, and what a way to end and cap off the 2025 football season in Oklahoma with two fantastic games. And it's going to start at noon with number one Lincoln Christian, number two Sulphur, a rematch of last year's instant classic. And I can only hope that we get another game that goes down to the final minutes like we did last year. Coach, thanks so much for your time today, and congrats on making it back to the title game. I know this has been the game that I've been looking forward to all year. I know a lot of people agree with that statement as well. Congrats on making it back, and we'll catch up before kickoff on Saturday.
Hey, Michael, we appreciate you guys. You don't understand what you do for Oklahoma high school football. All the coaches and everybody out there, the kids, how much they appreciate what you do, promoting them, promoting high school football in Oklahoma. Before you, I don't know where we'd be without you and what you're doing. So thank you. Please keep it up, and I hope Saturday lives up to all your expectations.
Yeah, look, no matter what happens, it's going to be fun. It's been a great season of coverage throughout the state of Oklahoma, and looking forward to one more week of high school football. And then it's the long off season, but we won't be going anywhere. We'll be still cranking out content throughout the
Right.
off season. But Coach, thanks so much for the kind words, and looking forward to Saturday. That's Corey Cole, the head coach of the Sulphur Bulldogs. This has been a look at Sulphur heading into Saturday's 3A state championship game. To hear from Lincoln Christian head coach Jerry Ricky, you can check out that one-on-one conversation on our YouTube channel, as well as all of our preview content on prepredzone.com/Oklahoma. For Coach Cole, I'm Michael Knight. One final time, 3A state championship game Saturday at noon. Not 1 o'clock like previous years. They've thrown that noon kickoff there. So we got a noon kickoff, and it's going to be a heavyweight fight for the 3A state championship. For Coach Cole, I'm Michael Knight, and this has been our look at the Sulphur Bulldogs heading into the 3A state title game.